Good break.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room. A little pregame action today, preview action today, but we are live. It's Cream City Crossover Group Trails the third.
Chris King.
Justin.
Yeah. We're coming out of nowhere, just impromptu, live, no hoops tonight, no hoops right now. Play-in's been going on, whatever the hell Adam Silver is doing with that mess. But we knew we were gonna have to do a playoff preview. Indiana Bucks is locked in, collision course, locked in for it, and we knew we were gonna do a playoff preview. So we're like, well, what other night is there to do it? What is there a better time to do it than right now? No hoops going on. I know we didn't tell anybody, but if you're there, come on in the room. But yeah, let's do it. And then say, hey, you know what? I got the talented Chris King with me. I have the talented Justin with me. We're here. We can do this thing live. Why we gotta record a video for? Let's just go live. I mean, this is what we do. This is what we do. We don't need to edit, make no. We don't need all that. We're going live with it. Playoff preview: Bucks and Pacers on the way. Game one set for 1 p.m. Eastern, noon if you're in the Central Time Zone. Bucks Pacers in Indiana on ESPN. We're gonna start this thing off. We're gonna start the real playoffs off. I don't know how I feel about that. I hate being that early matinee game, but it is what it is. Seems like that's always been the Bucks, delegated slot when they start is that early game or whatever the Saturday or Sunday is for the playoffs is what it is. But I feel good. How you guys feeling about the Pacers before we get into the most breaking of breaking news and everything that goes on? Just generally, how we feeling? It's Thursday evening. Playoff in a couple days. Oh, and by the way, before I do that, of course, Saturday on your T's and Q's will basically be a pregame show, 10 to noon, 97.3 The Game, Worldwide iHeartRadio. We'll be there previewing Bucks, Indiana. And then, of course, you had the game, and then to come back right here, Cream City Crossover, best post-game show in all the land, as we'll do post-game for Bucks Pacers as well. But so that with that being said, generally, how are we feeling, Indiana Bucks, as we're on the precipice of another historic, potentially NBA playoff run for your Milwaukee Bucks?
What did Pat Bev say? He went like this: licking my chops. Licking my chops is what I'm doing, because here – 3-1 in the regular season versus the Pacers. It took them a miracle shot to even get that one win, and that was a defensive breakdown that Tyrese Halliburton was able to get hit a 3-point play, a 4-point play, and ultimately beat the Bucks in that game. But yeah, I mean, I've been longing for this for a long time. There's when we knew that there was a realistic chance of this 4-5 matchup being Indiana, I always felt good, and I felt good now, especially now that Giannis will be on the floor. Hey, I would rather have no Dame and have Giannis than, what happened last year. So, when you put out Giannis, he's got his career high against, the Pacers. So I'm just really looking forward to playing those guys and hopefully getting our get back.
Man, I'm so excited. I wish it was Saturday already. Bought me some new church clothes for Easter Sunday. Ready to go to church with my Kevin Porter Jr. jersey on. It's time. I need y'all boys to shine these belts up. We owe these boys one. We really owe these boys one, man. They've talked. Tyree's still talking in the media right now. Hey, man, it's time to put up or shut up. Let's shut these bums up. They're bums.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, I'm with you on that, and I have no problem calling them some bums. We'll get to all of that, but I mean, I'm with you guys, man. Like it does feel good. Like this feels again eerily similar, not in the same way, but because again, I don't want to go that far, but it feels eerily similar to 2021, where you played the Heat in a bubble, right? And then you come back the next and you get beat. That was pretty ugly. You come back and you go sweep the Heat. Now this will start. You were at home, but you felt good about it. You sweep them and you keep moving. I will talk at some point about, man, it feels like so many Bucks fans are just scary. Hey, they running like Brandon Jennings from Pat Bev. It's a lot of Brandon Jennings, Pat Bev energy. I'm just saying, in the fan base, there's a lot of Brandon Jennings, Pat Bev energy, where everybody ducking and dodging. Somebody put the money up, check ball, and BJ like, It's 10 and under club. But we can talk about that in the look around too. But let's get to it, man. Biggest news of the of the playoffs, start of playoffs. I mean, really, maybe of the entire, not just for this series, but just in general. Milwaukee Bucks star Damian Lillard has been cleared to play after dealing with a deep vein thrombosis in his right calf. That's saying it right, and is no longer on blood thinning medication. The team announced on Thursday. Now, beep, beep, beep. Back it up. Anybody recall what I said on April the 2nd? I got to record. I ain't gonna go, but I'm just saying, listen, this is also why you gotta come to Cruise to the Crosser, because we had the news. Again, so before Shams came out and made his report today, I won't be long about this, but we did talk about it on this show, April the 2nd. It might have been April. I can't remember the exact, I believe it was April 2nd, but basically came out and told you that the reports that I had heard were that the Milwaukee, that it was serious, because you had a lot of people who said a couple of different things. One, people were saying, well, when you have to get on blood thinners, it's 3 months no matter what. You can't play after 3 months. It's 3 months. That's I don't know where everybody got their MDs from. I'm watching too much House or whatever the hell it was, but that's what they got, and they told us it's 3 months, period. You can't play after 3 months. Okay. And the whole point of what I was saying back then was that I heard, not that I was sure he was going to play, not that it was like guarantees come, but what I heard was, no, he really could be cleared after 1 month. Like that could be, like that is they're not, because the other thing we heard was, well, they're doing it to sell tickets because they want to say that he's still available at some point to play. That when I heard 1 month, they said, no, this 1 month is a legitimate potential timeline. And it all depends on how his body reacts. And again, you can't predict, because I had somebody say, well, you said 1 to 6 months. Well, yeah, you can't predict what a blood clot's gonna do. Like you can't just make, like, you have to see what his body, like, it's true. They're gonna wait and see what his body does, and the blood clot has gone away. Like that's what they wanted to do. And so what people were correct on was, yes, you cannot play in the NBA on blood thinners. It's not a thing, because the risk is so high. So the first hurdle in starting any of this was getting Damian Lillard off the blood thinners. And so by catching it early, and shout out to the Bucks medical staff for catching it early and for starting him on the medication early. This is week 4 of blood thinners, or at least he completed 4 weeks of it, and they've taken him off. So that is a very good sign. Apparently, and it's so funny. Doc Rivers when he talks to the presser, in his pressers, he's basically acting as if he has no clue what's happening. And then, but I think he was on a podcast. I think he was on, can't remember whose podcast he was on. I believe he was on with Marcus Johnson and on the Bucks Plus Audio, or whatever that one's called. And he went into much more detail about what Dame was doing. And so that let me feel a little bit better about it. But anyway, no longer on blood thinning medication. Shams said he would still be out for the start of the playoffs, and he's still out for game 1, but will ramp up for a return. Again, he plays some 3-on-3, participated in practice on Wednesday. Game 2 is scheduled for Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Shams basically said the doctors told the Bucks that Lillard's quick recovery has never been seen before, but it happened thanks to early detection and treatment. Lillard had been on medication to treat the clot. Last time he played was March 18th, and he missed the Bucks' last 14 games of the season after being diagnosed. He averaged about 25 points this year, a little under 5 rebounds, a little over 7 assists, and a little over 1 steal this season. Hey man, Dame Lillard got that. What do you remember when Trump told me they never seen how COVID ran through his body. Never seen it before. Dame got a little of that energy, and he got that Donald Trump medicine. And you never seen a body recover like this. And so, but again, happy for it. That's again good news for Dame in general. But I want to ask you guys, what does this mean for the Milwaukee Bucks and for the series? And I'll preface this by saying this. You know what? No, I'm just gonna let you guys talk, because I don't want to start off negative, because people always say I'm negative. So I'm going off what I hear. But I'll just ask you generally, what does Damian Lillard come back to the Bucks mean to you as far as the series, and maybe even potentially on further than that?
Well, it's huge, because even after you drop that kind of breaking news, Trey, about how he could potentially come back, like, I don't think many of Bucks fans, first of all, believed you. So there you go. There's a gotcha. But number 2, like, I don't think anybody was really expecting this to be the case so early. Even like a week ago or a couple days ago, we were fully expecting to gear up with Kevin Porter Jr. or Ryan Rollins as our starting point guard. Well, that's going to happen for one game, and now you got the killer that played really well against this Indiana Pacers team last year in the playoffs. I know he's got something to prove, and it also allows us as Bucks fans to see this thing go in the playoffs. That's what we're holding out for. When everybody's talking about in the chat, oh, we should trade Dame if this thing flames out. And Trey and I and Justin and JT want to see it play out with Dame and Giannis. What can they do in the playoffs? That is going to happen this year, and that is very nice to say, to roll off the tongue, because Dame and Giannis, that's the reason we brought him here, is to go out there and dominate in the two-man game. They were the highest scoring duo in the league across this season. And we had some question marks about whether they would even be on the court together in the playoffs. Now that's answered. They will be on the court. I'm just glad that they're all healthy. And, yeah, I think in terms of the Bucks, I just think it's a major plus. Another guy who can go out there and give you 30, can go out there and be the best player in the series, whether, regardless of what happens in the regular season or whatnot, he can be the best player in a series throughout the whole playoffs, really. And so you get a guy like that back, I mean, you're for sure happy about it.
So for me, I feel like we're in like 1997, right? And all of a sudden you're sitting there and you hear that glass break. And that boy walks out with that Dame 316 jersey on. And then you know what's about to happen. Business is about to pick up. We got some of y'all homies in the chat. Y'all gonna be drinking them Dame Weisers in the stadium and in the Pfizer when we come. Hell, half of y'all might drive down to India and drink them joints. Drink them out of it. You know they don't got no liquor down there. This is the biggest thing, man. Cancel Father's Day, cancel Christmas, cancel my birthday. Hey, I just need him to execute now, though. But him coming back is probably the biggest shot in the arm this team could have. You're going to get a big push with Giannis coming back and Giannis being healthy, and you got a big push with Bobby coming back at the end of the year, and this is the biggest push. If I was an Indiana Pacers fan, I know they're putting their chests out and they're poking all around and, oh, yeah, we're going to do this. If I hear that, man, I might get a little bit nervous. I might wake up in the middle of the night about 2:30 in the morning. See, y'all brothers young, y'all know about that. Wake up about 2:30, go to the bathroom, cold sweat, because them boys coming. Pause. Dame coming, Giannis coming, Bobby coming, Kuzma coming, Porter coming. Y'all in trouble, Indy. Y'all are in trouble. We're healthy and we're pissed off. Because remember, this team bounced us like Chris talked about in the previous segment. They took the ball and ran away. They've done all this stuff, and they talk. All they do is talk. Hey, man. Hey, I'm excited, man. Break some more glass.
There you go. Yeah, all that Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Mustafa Hassan says, come on in the room. Midwest Boston TV says, we here. NYC Demon says he's going to be at work, so he hates it. Jairus Artist says, hit the like. Exactly. And the King says, you was on it about Cream City. You was on it about Dame, Cream City crossover. Derek Clay says, for me, a broke person is 6 months. I don't have the money for Dame. Hell, you're right. You don't have the money for Dame. There's no doubt about that. Damian Lillard, NBA professional athlete, clearly round the clock care, getting him right and getting him back for this. And again, I echo all those sentiments. I'm glad Damian Lillard is back. I think, again, at the very least, it gives you, I'm not going to say at the least, Damian Lillard, again, you want more players. You want the best players available. And there's no question Damian Lillard is a talent. I do have a question, and it's not as big of a question as I think as some people say it, because I've seen some people come in and say, it's going to break the rhythm, break the flow, Damian Lillard. But there is something to say, and this is all I want to ask you guys. There's something to say for Damian Lillard, for Giannis. The last 4 or 5 games, we've seen him really, really take over this basketball team and essentially be the de facto point guard. I know Rollins kind of brought up something, but Giannis ran the offense. He would, what did he say? James Harden say, I'm the system. Giannis was the system, right? And you saw when guys hit shots and pay off his shots, he passes the ball well. You know he can get to the rim at will. And he really can facilitate and play make. The Bucks, and I'll give one example of it. When Giannis is double teamed, blitzed, if you will, whatever it is. Giannis is so tall. And again, he does not get the credit he deserves. Because again, is he Joker at passing the ball? No, he's not Joker. I'm not saying that. But he is much closer to Joker than I think people give him credit for. But when Giannis gets blitzed, when the double comes and the trap comes, Giannis will either one or two, he will back out, keep his dribble, and he looks over top of the defense. Or even when he picks it up, he's still looking over top of the defense. When Damian Lillard gets trapped, blitzed, a lot of times if you notice it, he can't see over the defense. He doesn't usually elect to split. So it becomes really just an awkward pass back to whoever just set the screen for him. And that doesn't necessarily move the offense. For example, when Giannis is looking over top, he's not just throwing it to the guy who just set the screen. He may be throwing it opposite corner. And now they've got it. Defense has to scramble to where the ball is. And it creates movement. And the ball continues to move. And it creates rotation. And it creates action. My question is, with Damian Lillard coming back, he doesn't want to stand in the corner. He doesn't want to just hang around. He mentioned he's got to be the center of attention. He's a ball dominant player. And even when Kevin Porter Jr. is at that position, Kevin Porter Jr. and again, I'm not saying this trying to be negative at all. I'm just breaking down some of the things that I think could potentially happen. When Kevin Porter Jr. is in a point, he is playmake first, score second. And he's looking for the lob. He's looking for other things that could take place. Get downhill. Even just getting downhill is a thing. When Damian Lillard is at the point guard position, how many times he's not even looking to get downhill. Sometimes he's just looking for the side step, back step for a three. And again, if he's hitting it, great. But if he's not, that's a problem. And Damian Lillard, instead of being playmake first, score second, he is score first, playmake second. And I just question whether that can lead to some issues. And we ain't even talked about defense, because my main question with defense today come back is, who does he guard? Who are you defending in this line? So again, now I said all that. My overall though, he's a threat on the court. He's gonna get 20 regardless. He's gonna get at least 20 regardless. He's gonna do his thing. Like I'm not concerned about that. I do just concern. My only concern is when the Bucks are running at their highest of high levels. Sometimes if Damian Lillard is not hitting the shots, that can look a bit odd. But I do think again he's going to draw. And I think there was a stat that I saw where when you talk about like his the attention he commands, he's still gonna command a lot of attention. You can't leave him open, so he's going to open up the floor for Giannis. He's gonna do a lot of those different things. But I just question: do you think there could be when he comes back? And I'm assuming my guess is that he's gonna come out. This is a total guess. I think Game 3 because they don't play. Game 3 is Friday. Is next Friday, so that'd be a full week from now. So if you gave another full week after he's been fully cleared, that gives him an opportunity to ramp up all that. But my question just generally is, do you see any problems, continuity flow in the offense when he comes back? Can you foreshadow that?
See, here's the thing. Just the way that they ended that season, right? What was it, 8-game win streak?
Right.
And I don't think Dame was a part of any of that, was he?
Nope.
So that obviously raises some concerns about, because even in the chat, and we have all talked about how we don't necessarily think that Dame and Giannis, there's still something missing. It feels like here and there. It just does. And when Giannis is out there, he got his career high without Dame last season. When Dame is out there, we saw that Clippers game from last season where he takes over. Like, there just got to be something that clicks. And I'm hoping maybe it's the playoffs. Maybe it is, having Giannis making everything run through Giannis and have Dame kind of play that catch and shooter role, and also, running off a screen, stuff like that, but also creating here and there. Like that would be ideal for me. I think that would work really well for the Bucks, because I think Giannis will be able to torch Miles Turner and Siakam again, as he's always kind of done. So I think you let Giannis do his thing, but that's the benefit of kind of going into this series without Dame, right? You kind of get a feel of how they're going to defend Giannis, and then now they have to make an adjustment midway through the series. That's always tough on an NBA team. So, yeah, I mean, certainly when you look at how they ended that season with different guys, and we talked about KPJ, how he always finds Giannis, always finding Giannis. Well, obviously there's going to be some concerns about continuity, but at the end of the day, we saw what Dame does in the playoffs. We saw what he did against the Pacers last year in the playoffs. Looked like he hit another gear. Hopefully we see that, and then it's not a problem.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. What does Doc Rivers make this year?
What you mean?
20, 30 million a year? 10 million? How he making a
Can't
lot,
be 30. I don't know what. I don't think it's 20, 30, but go ahead.
He making a whole lot of money though.
Make a lot of money.
He been in the league a long time, so he's got to stagger these minutes. I think what you're going to see is his second unit will pick up tremendously, and then when the guys are on the floor together, excuse me, I can't talk. When the guys are on the floor together, like both these gentlemen want to win a championship more than anything. I think Dame sat there in the first row, courtside, and saw how good this team was. So I think he, as a future Hall of Famer, is going to have to adjust his game. The same thing when Charles Barkley went out to Phoenix and he played with Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley, or when Barkley and Drexler went to Houston and played with Akeem. You got to be able to change your game to play with another Hall of Fame player. And it seems like a lot of this year we've been trying to put the square peg in the square peg in the circle hole, and it hasn't really been working. But it's crazy that, and we can all agree there's a whole nother level they can get to. They're still the highest scoring duo, not playing at their best, which is insane to me. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's like we got a handful of diamonds in my right hand and a handful of diamonds in my left hand, and I don't know which one of these diamonds are better or cleaner or prettier, but I got a whole bunch of diamonds. That's all I'm worried about. Let's go get paid.
John Hassel says, can we please see the pick and roll with Dame and Giannis? NYC Demon says, we'll be fine. Honestly, just run the offense through Giannis, let Dame play off him. But we've seen, I don't feel like Dame is as comfortable in that. I really think somebody said it. I can't see it here. Tony World says 6-man Dame. King says Damian Brooks to the second unit. Let them play the two old man, 2-man game. Now I'm not going that drastic, but and Io's talking about turnovers, which by the way, last few games the turnovers have really cut down. That they had really cut down the turnovers. So again, that I agree. That's a big piece. But I think like to me, I'm not as drastic as put him in the second unit, but when Giannis sits, those second unit, like if you have Dame, when you talk about staggering the minutes, Justin, when Dame is in there with guys not named Giannis, oh, it should be an absolute cook fest between him, Bobby. I don't know if you have KPJ. Like you can, again, for me, the biggest thing is it's just another weapon. It's another weapon and another tool at your disposal. So again, I got some text. People told me like, "Oh, Dame is gonna mess up the rhythm." And again, I think, but those are good problems to me. Those are good. I'd rather have Dame than not have Dame because at the end of the day, I will say this: there's no possible way, in my opinion, you can win a championship without Damian Lillard. There's no chance this roster can win a championship without Damian Lillard. It is one of those things where it's a very top-heavy roster. And I'll tell you this, if you had prime Chris Middleton, again, I know it's about Chris Middleton. If you had prime Chris Middleton, oh, this thing might cook. A Dame Giannis and a prime Chris, oh, I might need to put my like Bart, put my lawn chair down on Wisconsin Ave and get ready for the parade. But I'm just happy that he's back. He's gonna be available. The only other thing I'll add to this is, does this raise? And again, it depends on when he comes back. And so I don't know if he's coming back early, he's coming back late, what it's gonna be like. He's obviously not playing game one. But the question is, does this raise the expectations? Because I still think Giannis would have. I think the Bucks would have to beat. I think they would have had to beat Indiana no matter what. But if you lose in the second round, does this now go back with Damian Lillard? Does this now go back to giving you that? Hey, we might have to do something different. Like I guess I ask generally, if Damian Lillard is back, you don't even have now the excuse. You can make the excuse of last year. Well, Giannis didn't play, and Dame was out only played 2.5 games. Go before that. Oh, well, Giannis was out for those games against the Heat. And you go, oh, well, Christmas 2022. So you know how that went. You can make those excuses. If Dame is back relatively early in this series, let's say game 3, do you lose Have you lost now? I think so. To me, you have lost that excuse of, I don't think you can go back and go, well, Dame didn't play 2 games, or,
Nope.
well, Dame was coming back off an injury, so you don't know how that would. I don't think I don't think you can do that.
No, you can't do it. And we've been doing this for the past couple of years, and it's felt like justifiable. It's not justifiable to do that anymore. But that's a good thing. I would rather it be that way than having to do the whole what if situations. Yep. We know what if situations all too well as Bucks fans, and I'm just ready to see what the product is that they put out on the court. And I mean, no doubt, ending the season the way that the Bucks did, you have to be optimistic about this first round series, at least the first round series. You have to be optimistic about where this thing can go, because guys are bought in, and you've gotten some new additions back. There's no excuse with Bobby because he's back and he's playing, and there's going to be no excuse with Dame. So I'm excited to see what it is that takes place in this series, and I would rather it be with the guys healthy than a what if situation again.
Yeah, Dame coming back fully healthy. I mean, my expectations were already pretty high. Like we just mentioned, how great they were playing at the end of the year. But you bring back Dame, and all year I've sat on this hill and screamed that Dame was top 75 at 75. So I think if that's the case, that definitely raises that notch up a little bit higher. This Bucks team, there's just a lot of good things going into it. As far as staggering those minutes, if he gets in there in that second unit, you can no longer have a TJ McConnell outplay you. That just can't happen. You gotta cook these guys, man. And I think he will. We'll give him a little bit of grace game 3 or game 4, but I'm pretty confident that if they can get past Indiana in the next round, they will be able to beat the Atlanta Hawks or the Miami Heat.
Okay. What's the People's Mix talking about Sean Wright? I don't know how much I believe Sean Wright saying that that Dame Lillard's gonna be targeting game 2 return. I know Sean Wright likes to get in the mix a lot, but I don't necessarily trust what he always has to say.
Right about anything?
Nah, he's always bounced around. He does occasionally he will hit something, but he says a lot. So I don't know if that game 2 is factual accurate or not. I do want to ask you guys this before I guess we can get onto it when it comes time, because I do have questions about his defense. But like I said, I'll just wrap up on Dame. Again, I'm very happy that he's coming back. I think these are good issues. I look forward to it. And I think the Bucks make. Well, we'll get to predictions later, but I think I'll say this about the first 2 games before we get predictions later in the show. I think Indiana's got to have them. I think if Indiana does not come back up 2-0, they are cooked. I think they have to win both of these games on the road. At home, and they'll need to come back and have the Bucks really backs against the wall, trying to serve home court. Let's talk about Jericho Sims, who's also probably going to come back. I don't think the last update we heard on him. Let me know, somebody in the chat, if this is wrong. No, Tish saying as long as Dame Lillard is willing to come on. Love Tish, all the comments that she has. But she says if Dame comes back off ball and willing to be benched for clutch minutes, I'm fine. He's not going to bench the clutch minutes. I'll tell you that right now. When Dame Lillard comes back, he is not going to be benching clutch minutes. It's not. That's just not going to happen. Whether you want it or not, he is not going to be part of we benching him. He's not. It's not going to happen.
He could be benched if it's one of those possessions with like 2.5 seconds left and you need one stop.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, there's no way. You can't do that.
Yeah, and it just poured out. He's just got his rotations right. He knew who the clutch guys are. Now he has to rethink everything. Now that's true as well. I agree with that. It is kind of felt like Doc is finally getting it. But I'll say this, Tish, and I've said this before over and over again. Doc is an old school coach. He is a go with your horses type of guy. I think, again, I really do believe, I know people didn't feel like it because so many coaches coach to win games every single night. Doc doesn't. The games that he needed to win, he took out that entire start lineup. He took out Brook Lopez in particular, in my opinion. Kuzma as well, put him in there too. And he had Giannis as your primary big. Now, sometimes he had Bobby and with him, but Giannis as your legit big. He knows. I think he does know what wins you games. And I don't think he'll have any problem benching those guys again. Going back, and we'll get to the rotations. We'll get to everything in a second here. But another guy who should be coming back, slated to come back. I think this is a big question mark as far as will he play? Because I think you have a lot of people who I think this guy, Jericho Sims, is going to be a big factor, or he should be, excuse me. This is going to be the real question for Doc Rivers, more so than what Damian Lillard's going to do, because he's going to play Dame. But when you look at Jericho Sims, and again, somebody in the chat, let me know again if he's actually been cleared to come back fully. I don't think he has. But he has been dunking in practice, and Doc said he's hopeful for the playoffs. It looks like he's going to be back. How big of an impact do you guys think Jericho Sims will be? And then can be. And I think the answer for me can be a huge impact because, again, you can just go crazy with some defensive lineups when you add Jericho Sims to it. But I think there is a legitimate question as to whether or not Doc Rivers plays Jericho a healthy amount. Because again, you start looking at the rotations and what Doc can do and how many people Doc's going to play, and you start to wonder: is he really going to roll out big? When you think about bigs, you have Giannis, Brooke, Bobby, and Jericho. Is he going to play 4 legit bigs every night in the play? I mean, again, that's 4 guys. You're not doing full swap. Again, you think Giannis going to play 40-some minutes? It's just tough. So you're really talking about for 10-minute stretches, if you will, 8 to 10 minutes. Do you have room for 3 other bigs to play in that rotation? And Bobby's going to play. Brooks going to play. So does Jericho find his way onto the court? I think he should. Will he?
I think he will because, well, there's a lot of reasons. But for me, I think most importantly, it's just the youth. It's being able to go against a Pacers squad that likes to run. They have a lot of reserves on their squad that are probably going to get a lot of run for them. I think Jericho Sims helps combat that a little bit. We don't want to have Brook Lopez playing 36 minutes a night. At this point in his career, I don't think that's sustainable to win games in the playoffs. If you have to put in Jericho Sims for these kind of stretches just to put a body on, maybe even, I mean, who cares? Maybe give Siakam a hard foul, stuff like that. Like that's going to be huge for this Milwaukee Bucks basketball team because really outside of Brook and Giannis, when we play him at the 5, we saw some of that to close the season. But if you have Jericho Sims out there, you can have a guy who's going to work on the glass. You can have a guy that's going to work well with Dame. When we saw some of his screens that he was setting off the pick and roll, he was good too. Like that kind of stuff is going to be huge for the Bucks. I think he plays in this series. Now, when you get towards a Cleveland, if you do beat the Pacers and you get towards the Mobleys and the Jared Allens, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't because they're not going to try to run so much as much as the Pacers are going to. But I think you're going to need his athleticism. I think he should see the court in this playoffs, at least in the first round.
No, yeah, I agree. And shout out to NYC Demon as well. That was one of the things that he brought up about the pick and roll with Dame. I think at one point during this year, we called him the best screen setter on the team. And that's it's invaluable to me. He could come out here and he can do a lot of different things, rebound the ball, block the shots. I mean, I'd love to see him on, I know it's going to make Chris mad, but on Obi Toppin, on the Dayton Flyer, you got to put him out there because he's running around, jumping all athletic. You put another guy on the floor that could do somewhat of the same stuff. And I know Jericho's a little bit bigger and stuff like that, and he can't shoot the 3 like him, but you're going to need him on the court. I just feel like it's a healthy balance. And the thing that you go to a guy like Brook and you tell Brook, like, look, this isn't just a beat the Pacers thing or beat the Cavs thing. We're trying to have another parade in Milwaukee, so we're going to stagger everyone's minutes. Bobby, you're going to play less. But, I mean, I don't know, man. You got so many big guys now. How do you get them all on the floor? You forget about Pete Nance.
Yeah, Pete ain't going to see the floor. It's too late. I thought he had a nice game against Detroit. I think it's too late. NYC says he will have games against DMPs. I agree with that. That's what I think. And I think people are going to be frustrated because, yes, I do agree. There will be games. I don't think Sims is going to be used as much as people want him to be used. And yeah, I do think there's games where he gets DMPs. I just don't see Doc as like thinking he's like, all right, we got to use him every single night. I don't see it. Let's talk about the Bucks and their rotations and what's going to have to happen from the Milwaukee Bucks and a bit of what you'll see. And we'll start this thing off with kind of how we feel. Let's talk about it with no Dame for a second, because right now Dame isn't back. We don't know if he's going to be on any type of limitations anyway when he comes back. But the Pacers are going to roll out, Halliburton, Nembhard, Naismith, Siakam, Turner. So I think you're starting. So I think your first question is, I think there was a picture of Doc in the huddle, and it was the normal starters. Who people are gonna? So people are gonna be very upset, I believe, when that starting group is announced of Rollins, TP, Kuzma, Giannis, and Brook. I think you're gonna have some very upset folks when that starting group is announced. How do you do this? Like, even from a defensive standpoint, because it just seems odd. Like, again, I'm assuming. I just wonder from your starting lineup group, if you're not going to play a different rotation, if you're not going to play a different starting group, where do you put guys? Like, do you start? I'm assuming Kuzma's going to at some point in the series, Kuzma's going to play on Halliburton some, but I know he played on Siakam a large amount the last time they played, and I thought he did a really good job with Siakam. I like the fact that there's some versatility there that Kuzma can play with. But I also don't think you want. I mean, if you go look at that game film from the last game the Bucks played against the Pacers, maybe it was the second to last game, and there were so many open threes that Indiana got. I mean, it was insane. And I think a lot of it starts with Brook Lopez. Like, do you put him on Miles Turner? But then it's like, where do you do? But you saw what the Bucks did in the last game against the last game we played against the New York Knicks, where we put Brook Lopez on Josh Hart, and they put Giannis on Karl-Anthony Towns. Really slowed Cat down a large amount. Do you? I guess I asked you guys, like, where? How do you feel about who starts on Halliburton? You can't put Rollins on Halliburton, can you? And you can't put Brook on Miles Turner, can you? Like, I don't. I wonder. Here's my thing, and I hate it. This is what I'll say too. Like, it could be a very Mike Budenholzer situation where it took Bud a game or two to figure out what he needed to do. And I just hate the thought of we got to get down in a series, or we got to get down before we figure out, hey, this is how we're supposed to play them. I'd rather attack that up front and be anticipatory instead of retaliatory. And that's what I fear with rolling out this starting lineup that I think is going to start against game one for the Bucks.
Well, there's a lot of concerns with that kind of starting lineup against this Pacers squad. I was looking at it, and I'm also at a crossroads with Taurean Prince in this starting lineup as well, because you look at guys like a Nembhard or a Naismith, like those are two guys that may give him some trouble off the dribble, and we've seen that throughout this season, where it's kind of like he struggles against smaller wings or shooting guards, and if that's what you're going to go with, that may be a little tough to sustain. But then again, I mean, I do have a lot of faith in Doc and in our bench to kind of fill in gaps where we need it if Taurean Prince is not able to. On the other hand, he also played well offensively against the Pacers, so it's kind of like a pick your poison thing. And yeah, I mean, I think for me, I would love to see what KPJ could do game one if you start him. Because I think we've seen enough defensively to where when he's really locked in, now I hope we get that because this is his first playoffs, and I hope that he's able to rise to that occasion and rise to the stakes of this series. But I just think that the defensive playmaking, I mean, what did the guy have? 10 steals in 2 games to close out the season? Like, I think he could give Halliburton some fits. I really do. Especially in a year where Halliburton has he's picked it up, but he had been, before we even got KPJ, he had been a little shaky. So I think you give him that look right off the rip. And we also know that he has a high ceiling offensively. So I think he should go out there and start. But regardless, I don't know what they're going to do with, Brook on Miles Turner, just because it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to have Brook pulled out all the way to the 3-point line. Miles Turner can make 7 threes in a game, 5 threes in a game, 6, but then that spaces out, for the straight line drivers where we have those kind of issues with Taurean Prince and guys like that. So it's going to be tough, but that's where Doc has to kind of earn his paycheck. I love Kuz. I know he'll be in there, and I think he shouldn't have many issues. Maybe put him on Siakam, and maybe if you want to run Giannis at the 5, and have Kuz at the 4. I think that could be a good lineup there too.
My fear is that we start how we did, and I believe they put Torian Prince on Halliburton, and he just dies on screens so bad. Like it just creates so many issues for me when he's on Halliburton. I just don't like it, and I wonder if you could put him as a small ball because he's played small ball. I wonder if you could put him on Siakam and let Kuz take Halliburton and start. I don't know, man. Go ahead, Justin. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really tough when you look at this starting lineup on where Brook is going to play. Because in my head, I'm thinking, all right, well, we could put Kuz back on Siakam. You could put Giannis on Naismith, but then that leaves Rollins, TP, and Brook. Or you can put Giannis on Turner, excuse me. Well, Brook can't guard any of the other three guys on the floor, so he has to go to Turner. I like starting Ryan Rollins. I've said it before. I don't want to. I feel like KPJ's in his comfort zone coming off the bench. I feel like he's just such a big gut punch to that second unit. He has a better shot of making those first couple of shots against the second unit, and then we know how it is when he makes those first couple of shots. He goes crazy. For Brook, what I want to see for Brook is I want to see a little bit of Brooklyn Brook. I'm not necessarily interested in you shooting the 30-footers to Saturday morning. I really want you to get down on the block and get Turner into foul trouble. Because I think if you could get Turner into foul trouble, that makes him a completely different offensive team. And then that pushes Siakam to the 5, and you got a whole world of trouble. But for me, it's all about the closers. But TP is really he is really struggling. If he's not hitting his 3, it makes him tough for him to be on the floor. Same thing with Brook. But I mean, there's good problems I have, but there's bad problems I have. We got to see a healthy, functional fluidity in the starting lineup and in the lineup altogether, right? It's okay to start him for a couple minutes, but it's like what we were talking about a couple shows ago, man. You might have to do that Bill Cartwright or that Luke Longley where they're pulled 3-4 minutes into the first quarter. You might see him get started the third quarter, and then they kind of sprinkle it here or there.
Yeah, and it's funny, and everybody hates that starting lineup, but I think I think it's Frank Mann who would like tweet out this that 5 actually has a positive plus minus on the floor. And again, it's weird because they start really bad, but if you notice their third quarters are very good. So it's like the Bucks they do some odd things. I don't know how. I remember I think it was that Detroit game where it was like, first quarter was so bad, and and then you come back, get yourself tied. And it's like, oh man, they had to come out and play the third quarter, and they come out and play the third, and that starting lineup looked good. Arcel McGowan says the zone has been working well so far. I think zone is absolutely an option that you want to go to. I wouldn't start. I think it's hard to start off a game in the zone. And again, that's my question: is how are you going to start? And again, it might just have to be like you said, Justin, a quick hook if this isn't working. I think again, your other issue with the zone is you just get so much more susceptible to giving up offensive rebounds because you're not in position. And of course, that's been a problem for the Bucks. And again, that's another reason why I think you could see Jericho Sims is because if teams are starting to out rebound you and all the type of things, you may have to let those guys let those guys run. All right, let me ask you this because so you're talking about your starting 5, then you go to your bench. How many guys are going to actually play? How many guys are going to actually play? A lot of times, we won a championship essentially playing 5 guys. I'm shooting 7 guys is essentially what we were doing in long stretches in 2021. But from that standpoint, how many guys actually play? So you have your starters. Hell, if Dame comes back, that's another question. But I don't know if you have to get into. Dame comes back. Does that mean KPJ and Rob? Does that mean somebody? There's no way you're running 3 unless they're running together at some point in time. There's no way they're all playing, right? Like I don't see that. So somebody's meant to almost get cut to 0. But let's imagine Dame's not there because he's not. KPJ is gonna get. So you have your starting lineup. KPJ is gonna get off the bench. Bobby Portis is gonna get off the bench. I'm assuming AJ and Gary Trent and then that's 9. That's before we get to Jericho Sims being 10. That's why I really question about how many guys is he really gonna play. Because if you want Jericho Sims to play, you're talking about playing 10 guys. When Damian Lillard comes back, you're talking about 11 guys if you keep it KPJ and AJ. So, again, whose minutes really get cut? And I think, you're looking at guys that are susceptible for minutes limit is going to be Kuzma, Torian Prince, Brook Lopez. Like, those are guys that I'm looking at. If you're not playing well, it's going to shave down. And if AJ Green is shooting the ball like Derrick, Again, you're going to be Barely Bird or Dairy Bird. And if you're Dairy Bird, you're going to play. If you're not, you're going to sit. Tori Pritchard, you're going to hit that shot or not? We're going to see. Gary Trent Jr. is as clutch gets. Like, I'm just very excited, like, for this team and what we're going to get to see. I really like us. And even against the Indiana Pacers, this is what I've been asking. And people, and so we get into the Pacers, to the series predictions too. But like, here's my question for Indiana and for the Indiana fans and for what people that Indiana people who really believe in their basketball team. And I get it; they've had a really good record. You know, after they had a really bad start, and they've had a better record, and they've played much better. But like, and this is without Damian Lillard. What is the difference in their team? You tell me Mathurin's that much of a difference? You tell me he's the difference between, like,
he might make him worse.
Where they were last year and where that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, what is the difference between the Indiana Pacers last year and what they were this year? And it took them 6 games last year with no Giannis, no Dame for a couple games. Patrick Beverly is about to get in a fist fight with Brandon Jennings. Right, that was a guard we were rolling out to play heavy minutes last year, and he getting into it every night with Brandon Jennings. We had Danilo Gallinari, who's out in the middle. I don't know where the hell he's doing either. I don't know. We had Pat Connaughton playing heavy minutes, and Pat Connaughton again. Hey, you against G League. Hey, maybe Pat Connaughton got some juice left. Man, put up 43 against Detroit. We had Jay Crowder playing last. Like, again, I could just go down the line and show you how we've upgraded and we've gotten younger, faster, more athletic, all these different things. The Pacers have not done that. And so I get it. And that's where I was getting alluded to at the beginning of the show, where I was like, there's a lot of Bucks, Brandon Jennings energy where guys and people like, I don't know. The Pacers, they're so good. That's a good team over there. It's going to be real hard for us to beat. And I'm not even – somebody in the chat tell me where I'm wrong. Like, somebody somewhere tell me why I'm wrong about this. Tell me why I'm wrong when I sit here and look and go, the Pacers are bringing back the exact same team. Tell me, where are you telling me, again, Halliburton's a great player. Again, I know I talk junk about him. He's a great player. Has he gotten infinitely better last year? To me, he really hasn't. He hasn't. I ain't even going to go that far, but he hasn't, like, he's not in the running for most improved. Like, he ain't turned into he ain't Cade Cunningham. He ain't turned into that guy.
Missed the All-Star game too, right?
Right. Well, I know he didn't play well at the beginning of the season, but I think he may sneak in and be third team All NBA. We'll see. I hope he doesn't. But is he that much better? Is Nembhard that much better? Is Neesmith? Is he that? I'm talking about from last year to this year. Is Miles Turner? Is he that much better? Miles Turner's the same guy. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at our guys. And I'm like, there's a difference between Jay Crowder and I'd say there's a difference between Patrick Beverly and Kevin Porter Jr. Even Ryan Rollins. There's a difference between Danilo Gallinari and Gary Trent Jr. or Jay Crowder and AJ Green, who didn't really play. That's what I'm getting at. Is like, this team is so much different than what Indiana paid. And mind you, they didn't see Giannis last year either. So because I had a Pacers fan in my well, what do you mean you guys are more athletic? You didn't play Giannis last year. He's the most athletic player on the floor. So I guess that's what I'm really trying to point out. The only way we got worse was Chris Middleton was really good in last year's series. He really was. And he's not. And he's not there anymore this year. That's your only drawback. But outside of that, like, I'm just trying to figure out. I say this all the time, in my line of work. I say it to my clients all the time. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Explain it to me like I'm 5. How tell me, like, outside of telling me the Pacers are good, why are they better this year than they were last year? Why are they so much better? Why are they so much better this year than they were last year, to the point that us adding Giannis doesn't make that infinitely, like, again, because even if you were to say, okay, hey, we're better because this, I would say, okay, maybe marginally. Maybe you can give me some ideas of why you're marginally better. But if I'm bringing Giannis, like, this is a night fight and I'm bringing a gun. Like, if I'm bringing Giannis to the equation, how are you now telling me that we are not infinitely better this year than we were last year? and we took you to 6 games last year. You lost a game where Dame wasn't even playing. Explain. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean you're exactly right. That's why I'm honestly kind of surprised at just the amount of disrespect that, or also what you're talking about, Trey, with the scared energy of our fan base. Like, we should be nothing but confident going into this series, especially because they were able to end the season on such of a high note, right? Like, it would be different if remember we went through that stretch before we won 8 in a row or whatever it was, and then that was, that had us kind of questioning how this team would fare, especially without Dame. But everything going on around the Bucks right now is positive news. Like, the fact that Giannis was able to rest the final game and we were able to stay healthy, and then now Dame all of a sudden gets to come back, like, there should be no reason why anybody's not optimistic about this Bucks team, at least in the first round. Yeah, I mean, when I look around at the Pacers roster too, it's like, yeah, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, pissed down their legs a couple of games, probably a couple of games away from making that a better series, but they ended up getting swept, or what was it, gentleman swept, something like that. Like, those guys, to me, the guys that were so huge for them last year, Nesmith, Nembhard, they're just kind of guys now. Like, to me, when you put guys out on the floor like the Bucks have, when you've made additions that the Bucks have to kind of combat those guys, like, I don't necessarily think that they are even deeper than us. Like, I really don't. I don't think the guys they have coming off the bench are better than ours. Yes, they're still young and fast, but we've, again, countered that with some of the additions we made. Really, I'm super excited about this series with Indiana, because I think that we've done all the right things and kept our stars healthy.
Yeah, so we got Bucks fans lacking confidence. Man, that's tough, man. So should I say this joint for later, or should I just go ahead and just break it out now?
Hey, yo, I don't know what you want to break out. But,
Bring it out.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody scared of them boys. Hey, nobody. Only thing that happened from the Pacers from last year to this year is Rick Carlisle has lost some more hair follicles. He ain't no good. Look at them boys. Who on that team scares you? You scared of Halliburton, Oshkosh Bagosh? That's who we scared of? Hey,
over here.
And I'm going to say something about Pat Beverly, man, because Pat Bev, he played a hell of a series against him. That's probably the best basketball he's played 2 or 3 years offensively, when he was forced to be an offensive threat again. I know he can't average 10 points and blah, 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 all that stuff. But he played good offensively for that one game we won when Bobby got suspended back at the crib. But we cannot. You can't walk into a series with the best player on the floor on both ends and be scared of them. For what? Because they close out the season a little bit better than you? Well, we had our Washington series and our Toronto series earlier on in the year. So that's why they're coming in hot. But that's a team that you could see choking against the Orlando Magic. So I'm not scared of Indiana. I think we got the energy. I think we got the guys, like Chris said. We're deeper. And by the way, I think Pat Connaughton might be better than some of their role players. Nobody else on that team could drop 43.
You could. Hey, listen. You could be right about that. But no, I really don't see it, man. I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm not trying to be a homer, or anything like that. But I guess I just have a hard time seeing it. Some of the fans on the outskirts. Hey, I really do, man. Like, I would be shocked, and again, I hope I'm not falling over my words, but this is. I'm very confident about this series. I'm trying to figure out the last time I've been this confident about just a regular series. But yeah, this one, I just have no fear of the Indiana Pacers. I really don't. And again, this is not me being a homer. And I'm just confused as to why other people do. I'm very confused. Like, I think here's what I think. I believe it's because you've seen the Bucks fail in the last few postseasons. First round exit, second round exit, first round exit. And it's like, you're just used to seeing them lose, but you got to look at the circumstances surrounding it. And again, I think people don't realize how good Giannis is, like what he makes this basketball team. Yeah. And when he's into that mode, he's just so hard to be stopped. I just don't see him letting the Bucks lose to a Tyrese Halliburton-led team. Like, and I think somebody else said to me, like, well, when guys are hurt, even when Giannis play, it didn't work out. But I go look, and I think they're talking about that series without Chris Middleton, and when the Bucks played the Celtics, Jason Tatum, even in 2022, light years better than Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Light years better than Tyrese Halliburton. Zaire Lewis says Kuzma. Yeah, no, we're not talking about Pat Connaughton. I'm not even gonna let you do that. But
Wait, what?
yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I mean, again, I just don't see it, man. I really don't. I feel very confident about this Bucks team, man. I like them. I like us. And again, we got to hit shots. This is the number one 3-point shooting team percentage wise in the entire NBA. They got to hit shots. We hit shots, we'll win. Here are the keys. When I want to ask this, keys to this thing: hit shots, you'll win. Play good defense, you'll win. Get back on defense. That means pace and all that. You'll win. Don't turn the ball over. I want you guys, though, to give me finish this sentence. The Indiana Pacers will win this series if.
The Indiana Pacers will win this series if they're able to take advantage of these first couple games. If they're able to take advantage with no Damian Lillard, and depending on whether he comes back game 2, but here's the thing: if they're able to set the tone as favorites in the series, as favorites in game 1, if they're able to at least, if they put up a commanding win in game 1, that's when you start to go, oh, okay, we may have something we got to deal with here, because really, I mean, all the stuff we're talking about, how we think the Bucks have the better team, how they can beat the Pacers. If the Pacers go shut that up on Saturday at noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, and they go out there and they play Pacers basketball, which is get up and down the floor. If they're knocking down threes, if one of their random guys has 30 points and the Bucks aren't able to keep up with them, score with them, and they're not able to defend, and they're able to expose some of our defensive issues, then I think they have a chance to win the series if they just, take advantage of home court.
Man, the Indiana Pacers will win the damn. Like, I don't really got nothing for you, man. I expect the Pacers to come out Saturday and start out with a big lead in the first quarter, but I think that old steady 34 is going to bring it back into reality and kind of get things back in place. I mean, the only way I can see if the Indiana Pacers win this basketball series is if the Milwaukee Bucks choke. I know they're favored and all that other stuff, but I think Doc Rivers is a better coach than Rick Carlisle. I think that Giannis is better than any Pacer in history, including Reggie Miller and all them other dudes. I think that Damian Lillard might be better than any Pacer in history too. No, he's not fully healthy. But when you're looking at guys like KPJ, Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, these guys are better. Do your job. And we won't talk about this. You got to do your job. Like MJ, the real MJ, Marcus Johnson's always talking about, what do you say? Chop wood, carry water?
Sure.
That's what we got to do. And we got to rebound the basketball, though.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that they did tremendously in the 4 matchups, even though we cooked them 3 out of the 4. We got to rebound the basketball. No mental blunders, no letting Tyrese Halliburton go and shoot the ball from 3 rows deep in the crowd and it be a foul. We'll be fine. Just play Bucks basketball. I can't even honestly give y'all anything the Indiana Pacers will win but I will come if we were eliminated. I will come on here and say I was absolutely wrong and give credit. Now I'm a root for the team that they playing against. I ain't gonna give no credit to them. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it is gonna. There's a way the Pacers can win the series. I think this is a big referendum on Doc Rivers. I think it's a good point. You talk about Doc Rivers and Rick Carlisle. Doc Rivers got to win the series. Like he's got to win this. And I ain't gonna talk. I mean, again, I think there's gonna be some more. There will be some more pressure on him, even in round 2 and beyond. But you got to win the series if you're Doc Rivers. So I don't think you can play around and you game people. At least we didn't get swept. Whatever he said about them other series he lost. Well, I'm just glad we never got swept. Nah, that's not gonna fly. You got to win the series.
My credit for my 3 wins.
Right. I want credit for being up 3-1. Be serious.
So I will never call for a player to be traded, a coach to be fired.
Yeah.
But it'd be really hard for me if he said some BS like that after getting beat to these pay. It'd be hard. I probably wouldn't even come on the show because I wouldn't want to disappoint my mother.
Yeah, you got to win the series, man. Like you have to win this. Okay, so I think we all are gonna. I think there's no disagreement that we're all gonna think the Bucks are gonna win. What is this? What do we think this series looks like? And I guess it's crazy. I wonder what people on Pacers side, if you like, because this thing, if you reach down into my soul, and well, I tell you, I put some money on the Bucks to win the series because it's plus money. It was even more plus money when I did. I think it went down a little bit. I think the Bucks are still. I think. For whatever reason, I believe Indiana's still favored to win the series right now. But it was some good plus money back before the announcement on Damian Lillard. But so that's what I'm saying. If you reach down into the depths of my heart and my soul, yeah, I'm not joking. I believe the Milwaukee Bucks are gonna win the series. It's not just a facade. If I had to pick, I believe if you really wanted my honest opinion, I honestly feel like it's gonna be Bucks in 5. I honestly feel like that. I think that probably would require us to win. I don't know. I don't know. I think at least you have to come back 1-1. You got to come back 1. There's no at the very least. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. I would not be surprised if the Bucks came back up 2-0, coming back to Milwaukee for Game 3. But yeah, it's all the fear in me is making me say Bucks in 6. That almost like, yeah, I almost feel like it. You ever seen one of the things where you're doing something, it's like, man, it can't be this easy. It can't. And to me, Bucks in 5 would almost be like, man, there's no way it's gonna be this easy. I'm almost talking myself out of thinking it's gonna be as easy as I think it will be for the Milwaukee Bucks. And not when I say easy, I don't mean we're gonna blow them out by 20 every night. I just mean when the tough gets tough, when the tough get going, the going get tough, when it comes down to it, mano a mano, wire to wire, who's going to make the big plays at the end of games, I'm trusting Giannis over Tyrese Halliburton. And I also believe that the Bucks are more equipped. Like again, I know he had the fake game winner at the end of the game, the fourth game we played. But like they had the one against last year over Pat Bev with the runner. And I just feel like more and more of those, they're not going to happen. I just don't see them happening this year. It's one of these where you get these games close. I feel like the Bucks going to have enough to close them out, especially with KPJ, especially with Giannis. Then you bring back Dame. I think the Bucks have too much for the Indiana Pacers. That's why. So I'm officially going to say Bucks in 6. I really think it's going to be Bucks in 5. What say you guys?
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks fan in me is easily able to just go with Bucks in 6, but. I mean, it's tough for me because I just think that, like, they're going to have some pop game 1. They're expected to win that first game. So I think the way this series goes, I think we split 1-1, but I think we might lose Saturday. And then I think they go – I really do think the Bucks after – I mean, we saw all the stuff on social media and watching these games. Like, Fiserv has been, like, really loud for this Milwaukee Bucks basketball team. And I think even more so if Dame comes back in Game 3, like imagine that in Fiserv when Dame comes back. I think they go 2-0 at home. And, yeah, I think honestly, I'm going to go with Bucks in 6. I think the Pacers it'll be 3-1. I think the Pacers will win. And then I think the Bucks will close it out at home.
And which I think I'm going to say.
I would be surprised if you say Bucks in 4. You got a sweep going?
Bucks in 4, baby. We out of there. Bring on the Miami Heat or the Atlanta Hawks. Come on, Young.
Any commentary? You just going Bucks in 4. That's it.
Bucks in 4. F.
Right. You know WrestleMania coming up, so I see you with the title belt. All right, you got the Bucks. Okay, Bucks in 4. So Bucks in 4 from you. We're both going Bucks in 6. Me and Chris. So we'll see how that rolls. Let's see. I will address. We go to the look around. You want to be me, but you can't. I think he's the same guy on Twitter. Yeah. Says when Giannis is injured. Well, first, yes, same guy. He said, "Train Chris King. I'm gonna call you out. Giannis was severely injured, and y'all want Giannis back. But I never heard y'all saying Dame needed to be back ASAP. And so during the addresses, I'll just be real quick on it. Again, Giannis having a calf injury or Giannis with some type of muscle tissue thing is not the same as Damian Lillard with a blood clot. Like that's not the same. Like that's not the same as you can die. So that's why I was not rushing a guy who has blood clots back. I didn't think that needed to be said, but for some people it has to be said. So if you want the official reason as to why I was not saying, Dame, get your blood clots back in the lineup, that's why, because they were blood clots. It's a serious medical injury, medical issue. It's just like, somebody had a heart attack. But hey, nah, you gotta get up out that bed, dog. You got no. Take as much time as you need. It's not the same thing, man. So that's why. I know how to say it, but there you go.
Yeah, you're right. That's it. I don't even remember what he's talking about from last year.
Okay.
We're on to the Pacers again.
Okay. There we go. Go ahead.
I just say when any player is injured, even if you look at Dallas with Kyrie Irving, I think that it's normal for your fan base to want your best players on the court at all times. So no one knew the full extent of Giannis's injury or any of that stuff until the season was over. So it's tough to come back and say, hey, you said this or you said that. And when we first got the news, that was 3.5 weeks ago. And so that's all I said. I mean, hell, I wanted Bobby Portis to play when he was suspended. I wanted Sims to play. I wanted Brook to play when he had the back injury. But it's a difference between wanting your guy to play and watching your team crash and burn. And I may be off on this, but I don't think either one of y'all nor JT's would have said if this would have been detrimental to Giannis's future as a Milwaukee Buck, you want him back on the floor against the Indiana Pacers.
No, absolutely not.
It's also frustration of sitting out so many games before in different years, right? It's just,
right.
That's all it is.
And same with the Miami series before, where I honestly believe now the Miami series, I believe they thought they could. I really believe they thought they could win without Giannis, and I think they rested him that game. I think they sat him because they won one. I think it was 1-1. I think they thought, okay, we can buy some more time, and I think they didn't play him. I think that was a mistake. But yeah, no, I thought, again, it's one of these where it's like, oh, can you come back? Are you close to coming back? We're close to coming back. Let's go. But, if he really wasn't close at all, he couldn't play. He can't play. And, same thing with Damian Lillard. If you can't play, you can't play. But if you can, it's the playoffs. And I think you have to understand, and I think Giannis understands now the magnitude of these moments. When you, again, 2021, it goes blink of an eye. Like you had 2021 and what happened, and the next thing you know, it's now you're 3 straight early playoff exits. Like it is that quick, and I think people have to understand and realize that. Okay, so let's go to let's do some look around here. I know we'll talk about Mike Budenholzer getting fired. I'll say this on Bud getting fired. The Phoenix Suns don't make the playoffs. I think it was totally appropriate that he was terminated. And again, another one where try to tell you guys, some stuff that I know about Mike Budenholzer and about how he was viewed and looked at in the locker room. And does it surprise me that the guy, not just the guys in the locker room, but people in the organization in Phoenix didn't like working with him. It's the exact same thing that he did in Milwaukee. Like, and I said this before. I said it multiple times. I keep saying it because I believe in the reporting and I believe in what I was told. What I was told about Mike Budenholzer, and I've repeated this line before, is the mutiny that people think happened under Adrian Griffin. It happened under Mike Budenholzer. Multiple guys, people didn't like him. People in the building didn't like him. People in the organization didn't like him. People front on, like it was from top. It wasn't just a players thing. Top down, we're sick of Mike Budenholzer. That's what it sounds like happened. And from what they're reporting out in Phoenix, top down, they were sick of him. If you're at Matt Ishbia's press conference today, he talked about the record, but he also said there are a number of reasons as to why Mike Budenholzer is not back. And I don't think it was just about the record or about the players. It sounds like it was more than just that. So again, am I surprised? Nope. Matt Ishbia, I'll say this, and that's what I said about Matt Ishbia, because he also responded to the thing where Stephen A. Smith, you all right, Chris? The thing where Stephen A. Smith said he was the worst owner in pro sports. But, and again, I think Matt Ishbia has some pushback on that because, yeah, you can't kind of compare him to Donald Sterling and stuff like that. Matt Ishbia is on the same level of the guy who I would compare to is David Tepper, where you come into ownership and you think, I know it all. Here's what we should do. Let's do this. And I just throw money at a situation and this will work. And it's like, no, you got to pick some people who you trust and let those people run your organization. And for the first time in forever, it seems like David Tepper is finally hands off. Hey, here you go, Dan Morgan, great respected linebacker in Carolina Panthers history. You're our GM now. You run the franchise, and let's see what you do with it. And that's really what Matt Ishbia needs to do. Whether it's James Jones who's the GM there or somebody else, pick somebody you like, know, respect, and trust, and let that person handle basketball. You open up the checkbook. You entertain guests. You do all things you talked about with the culture and with the concessions and how you want to price things and price admission to your game. The entire fan experience, you work on that. Let somebody else do the stuff that happens on the court and see where it turns out. Wait, and here's the other thing. If it doesn't work out after 1 or 2 years, wait. Why don't you wait 3-4 years, see what happens, and then make some decisions at that point. But again, no surprise on Bud. Matt Ishbia, let other guys run the program.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, they did all the acquisitions for guys that, big names, and they did the wrong thing. I mean, from top to bottom, and then they went and grabbed Bud, who really, I mean, if you just look at it like, yes, we're so happy he brought us a championship to Milwaukee, but the way that he ended his career as a head coach, I don't necessarily know why he was a target to even be brought back as a retread in the first place. I mean, those blown leads against the Miami Heat were some of the worst things I've ever had to endure. And I've endured a lot as a Bucks fan and as a Dayton Flyer fan too. But like all that stuff, like it's an indictment on really how that front office is ran. And hey, they made a right decision to get rid of him and quickly before it got even worse. And yeah, that front office, everybody involved with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, you just look at it, man. Like they were in the finals, not too long ago when we were in the finals, and the massive drop off that they've had, and some of the guys that they had to give up to get some of these big name guys, and they're flourishing elsewhere. Like it's just been bad with the Phoenix Suns, and I'm sure Suns fans are just glad that they were able to clip Bud before it got even worse.
So, Coach Bud he was amazing for what he brought to Milwaukee, like both of you have said. I don't have the inside information, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's not just Bud, because when you look at it, they fired 3 coaches in 3 years. So this is a top to bottom organizational problem. Like Chris mentioned, you brought a bunch of names to it, and that's where I thought Bud would have been a little bit more reserved to not take that job. I think that Bud's system may work good in a younger team or a team that's not quite at that championship level, but coming in and going with a bunch of guys who feel like they know more than you, I mean, I think you were set up for failure. And the only guys that you could see that come in and coach these Hall of Fame guys to do well are guys that host podcasts on and get on ESPN the year before. Somehow they figured out a way, but a championship level coach can't. No disrespect. I hate to see it for Bud, but you know what? In the end of the day, Bud won more than the Phoenix Suns did. He beat them, won a championship, and now he's paid, $10 million a year to 2029? So you can go play golf, drink wine, do whatever you want to do, and you're set for life. It's just an unfortunate situation. We see a lot of the stuff with the owners meddling. You see it a lot in the NFL. Trey, you mentioned the Panthers. You also got the biggest one, the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, this guy made himself the own GM of the Dallas Cowboys. You saw it a lot with Al Davis's Raiders, and those types of teams usually aren't successful, or the success they do have is not long. So sucks for Bud, sucks for Phoenix. Wonderful stadium, just wonderful arena, wonderful place to be before it gets to 1,000,000 degrees outside. And those fans deserve better. Thank God we won it, and we're not in that same situation they're in.
IL said Bradley Beal felt disrespected. That was funny that apparently Mike Budenholzer told Bradley Beal he needed to play like Drew Holiday. And Bradley Beal took offense to that. That's just a joke. But yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of I'm not mad at anything that's happening in Phoenix. So listen, man, I ain't got no it's like the Bucks cursed them with the win, and now again that was a team that was on the come up. They got to an NBA Finals and then just totally fell off the cliff there. What else you guys want to talk? You say what?
Cliff Paul.
You guys, I don't know if you've been hearing this news about Jennings and Patrick Beverly. Any thoughts, and then we can run to the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if they play, so that's what it's about. They want to play 1-on-1.
So basically, Brandon Jennings he's on Gil's Arena, and so they had. I think this whole thing started with this idea of in the All-Star game having guys play 1-on-1, and I think that's where this whole thing started. And then it morphed somehow into well, now Brandon Jennings is going to set up this 1-on-1 tournament, and with older players playing in the 1-on-1. And it kind of got into somehow Brandon Jennings started calling out guys. He called out Lou Will, Jeff Teague, and Ty Lawson. I think are the three. Maybe there's somebody else he called out in there too.
Mark?
Who?
What's the dude for the Clippers? He called out that dude. I forget his name.
I don't know. But somehow out of it, Pat Bev jumped into the conversation and was like, "Hey, I want to play. I'll lock y'all up." And then it just went this back and forth for Brandon Jennings is like, "Well, you got to average at least 10 points a night. You have to average 10 points to play in this 1-on-1." And then they just been going back and forth with Patrick Beverly calling him out. Again, officially, I think Jennings. Again, I don't think he wants to play Pat Bev. No. Because I think Jennings he's out of shape. I don't think Jennings is ready to play 1-on-1 right now. And I think Pat Bev took it very serious and was like, yeah. And I think if they play 1-on-1, I think Pat Bev would probably beat him. And so Pat Bev was like, I put 100,000 up right now. And so they just been going back and forth. And again, I don't think Jennings wants to play Pat Bev because one, he's out of shape, and two, Pat Bev Jennings made a funny joke today. He was like, he said that he want that after he finishes his 1-on-1 tournament that he's doing with the guys he talked about, he then wanted to set one up with Pat Bev and it could be an all defense 1-on-1, and they could first 1 to 10 stops wins. But yeah, I just think his brand of basketball, it's just a different style, scorers versus a guy who's just trying to relentlessly stop you on defense. Yeah, I don't think Brandon's trying to play that hard either. I think it's just
end in a fist fight as well.
Right.
Just because that's the kind of guy who Pat Bev is, and I know Brandon Jennings probably talks his fair share of crap. So here's the thing about those guys. Man, I know some people, all the people that watch Gil's Arena and all their fans, they're going to enjoy that. A lot of people don't care. I would say a lot of people that like the NBA, that love basketball, they probably won't tune in. The viewership would be kind of low. So maybe they're trying to get the viewership up by, doing all this parading around about who's going to win. But, man, you guys had your moment when you're in the league.
One of Jennings' big issues was not only did Pat kind of insert himself, but he offered to host it. Remember, on pay-per-view, and that really triggered Jennings. But look, man, Trey,
because Jennings already was trying to set something up,
and then Bev kind of took it and ran with it. I played a 1-on-1 sport in college, and I don't care if Eldrick Tiger Woods said he wanted me on the first tee. I'm gonna put my shit on and I'm gonna go play him. You don't run from that. Someone call you out in the sport you play him. If you're not in shape, then you gotta shut the hell up. And I'm the biggest Brandon Jennings fan there is. But you can't be popping it on air all day. And then the man says, yo, forget all that. I want to play you. Oh, man, you ain't average 10. I don't care. I want to. So if he didn't average 10 and you're a walking bucket like that, you should cook him. Don't sit here and talk about his accolades and stuff like that. And Pat Bev was a hell of a basketball player. And so is Brandon Jennings for what they did in the NBA. Great role player / borderline star. But I mean, when you look at the totality of a lot of these guys that are talking about going in this one-on-one stuff, I think Jeff Teague might be the only guy that's playing the All-Star game that's going to do this, right?
Probably, yeah. Because again, a lot of guys that have the accolades, I don't think they feel the need to continue to prove themselves after their career's over.
And I think it was like Marcus Thornton. I can't remember the dude. He's a good basketball player. He averaged like 11.7 a game or something. He's a Clipper for a long time to kind of bounce around the league. But look, Jennings, dog, you are tough crowd. You are Bucks and 6. You are hostile territory. You got to go out and take it, man. The dude's flying. He's offering to. This would be the equivalent of Trey. Someone want to come from wherever and do a Oklahoma drill with you at Howard. You running from that?
Nah, I ain't want no Oklahomas, but I do one-on-ones. I ain't trying to get no Oklahomas with you now. I ain't. Come on now. I do one-on-ones on the pass, Skelly. I ain't trying to do no Oklahomas now. Come on now.
Chris
Stay off the ground now.
Someone come to Dayton and they challenging you. You running from it?
No, not at all.
You might be muted.
No.
Well, I tell you,
No.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. No. You guys know what I do. On the side, throwing people out.
Yeah, for sure. My old ass, you challenge me to a basketball game right now. I might be able to get from the charge line to the free throw line. I'm damn sure gonna go out there if you challenge me though.
Yeah, nah, I agree with you on that part. Yeah, Jennings definitely don't want to play him. He don't want to. There's no doubt about it. He don't want to play him, and he doing a lot of talking. Let's jump to the matchups that we have set, and we'll go through them really quickly. I don't want to take too long on these. Let's just start in the East. What we have set right now. First, who wins? Miami, Atlanta for a chance to go play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Real quick, who do you have in that one tomorrow night?
Miami.
I got Tyler Hero in the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Miami as well. So we have so we'll see. I think Cleveland's gonna advance. 4-5. We were talking about Pacers, Bucks, but we got that one. Detroit, New York. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go with New York. I think this could be a good series, though. I think a lot of people are giving the Pistons the credit that they deserve for turning that thing around. I just think that the addition, by subtraction as well, like losing DiVincenzo and Julius Randle and going and getting Cat like that, I think that's gonna hold some weight. It may not get you to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think in a first round series, I think they have what it takes to beat the Pistons.
I'm gonna go. Man, I hate to do this. I hate this town. I'm gonna go Detroit though.
Really?
I just feel like they're gonna beat them up. They're gonna punk them. Cat soft. Punch him in the mouth. And what Mike Tyson said, you ain't got to play and you get punched in the mouth. Punch Cat in the mouth, see what happens. I also think the Miami Heat gonna upset the Cavs too.
I ain't even letting you do that. I kind of feel the same way about the series against the Pacers as people feel about this one, where it's like I think a lot of people think Detroit's going to give the Knicks a lot of problems. I just don't see it. I really don't. I don't see it. I think the Knicks going to get done with Detroit in 5. Again, I'm not saying they won't be good, entertaining games, but I think the Knicks is going to have too much down the stretch for Detroit. Yeah, I also hate it because again, I think that team's gonna get to play Boston. I want Boston to have their hands full too, instead of being able to waltz through playing Orlando and Detroit. But for anyway, where are you going? Detroit, Boston and Orlando. I do have
Celtics
Boston's
now,
gonna win that
Celtics,
in 4. I think it's
We're going Magic in 6.
Okay.
Go Paolo.
Tomorrow, Powell, I think Powell's good talent, man. They gotta get some other guys around him. Dallas and Memphis tomorrow night. Where are you going there? Who gets the right to play Oklahoma City?
See, I really liked what I saw from the Dallas Mavericks. It's a valiant effort not having Kyrie, but being able to just even beat the Kings. Kings were favored to win that game. Their crowd was nice, but, Clay and AD showed up, and that was that. But they don't have enough to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. They just don't. You saw what Desmond Bane did the other night to the Warriors. They didn't get the win, but like Memphis has. I know they're missing Jalen Clark. That's a tough blow because he was really good for them this season. But like Ja has to win. Ja has to win this play-in game. He has to. There's going to be indictments on the way his career is going if he loses. I think there will be small conversations, but there will be conversations about him not being able to get things done and not being able to stay on the court in past years and stuff like that. So I think, Memphis will ultimately beat them.
Throw my grenade. It's Dallas Mavericks.
Nope.
It's Dallas Mavericks because they said it. If you follow Twitter last night, they said he was popping perks on the sideline. That's how he came in and ended that Golden State Warriors game. So, truthfully, all jokes aside, we really got to see how this ankle heals up because that's something that can rear its ugly head a couple days down the line. So, I'm just going to say that and that kid, what's his name, B.J. Williams for Dallas, he shot lights out in Sacramento. So, he come up, put out another performance like that. I think the Mavericks will get that. And, man, Anthony Davis going to show up and go crazy because Triple J, I like that guy too, but I would go Mavericks.
Yeah, I think if Kyrie was there, if Kyrie was there, I would definitely go Dallas. And
if Kyrie was there, they may not be in the play-in.
Probably not. But I also, if Kyrie was there, I'd probably give him a good shot at beating Oklahoma City. Honestly, too in that series. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go Memphis to win that.
Can we say one quick thing about the Sacramento Kings? So we talked about how poorly managed the Phoenix Suns were, but Sacramento has to be right in there with firing Mike Brown and this team looking like what they did. That was horrible last night. Turn your TV off.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense at all. But and I also, going back to Dallas, I give Jason Kidd a lot of credit too because that was a team that could have easily packed it in, mailed it in. AD was out for losses. Kyrie didn't out. So I mean, I tell you all the time, you can hate on Jason Kidd, what he did in Milwaukee. You can hate on him trying to be a GM and insert power and influence. Him as a basketball coach, I don't know how anybody can hate on him. I mean, to have that team ready to play, and again, the way they played to end the season, to finish ahead of Phoenix with, again, you can talk about what the type of team Mike Budenholzer had. There's no reason the Phoenix Suns should have finished below the Dallas Mavericks for the play. There's no reason. And they had ample time to get there. They didn't do it. So that's a bad look. But yeah, I think Dallas. I think Memphis will win it. I think Memphis will. I think Memphis will give Oklahoma City some. They won't win the series against Oklahoma City, but I think they'll give them some fits. I think that could be a 6-game series. It's a matchup issue. I think that's a 6-game series that Oklahoma City ends up winning.
Yeah, I think OKC's going to get them, but I just think yes, the Thunder have some strong bigs, inexperience with Chet, and as much as flack as Zach Edey gets, I mean, I think he's a good matchup for Chet. I think.
I can't stand Zach. He be getting rebounds though.
Yeah, I mean, just
should.
That's a good guy to have going against Chet, and then Ja and Shea. I'm sure there will be some good games within them, but I think OKC.
Yeah, this one where I'm not going to pick against the grain. I'm going to go with those Thunder. Have a good first-round series.
They got to, though. That's also another situation you got to monitor, which is like, it's going to be indictments on some of these guys' careers if they're not able to, at what point are we going to stop making the excuse for OKC that they're just too inexperienced, that they're too young?
No, they got to go.
Got to win.
They got to win.
Got to win.
Man, these next 3 series, I mean, it's gonna be like the West might be an absolute bloodbath. I mean, it's so funny. We're building this up and like watch it be like boring as I don't know what. But but all these, I mean, listen, man, these are all gonna be supposed to be really good series. Houston is a 2 seed, and if you're Golden State, I think Golden State's favored. I think they're favored to win the series in Vegas. I'm taking the Warriors. And again, for the simple fact, I'm taking the Warriors in 6. That might be a 7-game series, but I'm taking the Warriors in 6. But for the simple fact that when it comes down to end the games, Houston just doesn't have any closers right now. Like come down to end the games, and Golden State has 2. That's the only reason. I think these games will be close. I think they're gonna be. I mean, I know there will, and my prediction for this series, there will be at least 1 ejection. Draymond Green or
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan. Oh yeah, it's gonna. That's gonna be must-see team. Rockets Warriors is probably it might be my favorite series I want to watch. Just because I think it's gonna be fun. I think they're gonna go at it. But yeah, I just don't. I think Golden State just has the closers, and Houston doesn't. And they're another year away. This might be the best thing for Houston. It might be the worst thing for Houston because they've been rumored to be in the Kevin Durant talks for next year. So they could. I mean, I don't know how many guys they're gonna have to give up or what they're gonna do if they think about getting Kevin Durant in there. But I mean, yeah, Houston's a good young fun team. They get 2 seed, excellent job. Ime Udoka. I think they're gonna give this coach of the year to Kenny Atkinson. But to me, both Ime Udoka and JB Bickerstaff would be above Kenny if I had to vote. It'd probably be I probably would give to JB and then go in. But again, great job for Ime Udoka out there in Houston. But I'm gonna take the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Warriors. I saw playoff Jimmy is alive and well.
I'm gonna go Rockets in 7. I think that when Dillon Brooks gets ejected, he's going to get into a fight with Jimmy Butler, and that's going to suspend Jimmy for a game, and that's going to give the Rockets a nod. But hey, you don't have to close if you beat their ass all through those 48 minutes and not wait to the last second.
That's true. I don't think they have enough scoring to do that though. I think the Golden State's always going to be in it. 3-6 matchup. It's another one where you talk about at what point. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of talk about Anthony Edwards too. You talking about John Morant, you talk about Oklahoma City. Anthony Edwards into a battle with the LA Lakers. Lakers got Luka this time. Didn't they play? They played last year, right? What in the series last year?
Mavericks Timberwolves Western Conference Finals. That's what Luka.
Yes. Correct. I think. Again, Minnesota to me, you have to find ways. Here, this is going to question how good a coach Chris Finch is, because you should be able to find ways to exploit the LA Lakers, even though they have two really good players, Luka and LeBron. Are they going to be able to do that? That's the question. I don't know if they will. I'm gonna go. I think that's a 7-game series. I go Lakers in 7.
I think this is tough. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think it's almost over for Bron and them. I think Anthony Edwards is gonna will his team to victory. And Naz Reid, I think he's gonna have a big series, and I think the Timberwolves are gonna beat him in 6.
Yes, that's a good one. So first of all, they got 2.5 good players. You gotta give Reeves a half. He get a half point. Austin Reeves.
Yeah. Oh, he's good, but this is a big drop off.
But I'm gonna lean with Brother King, man. I'm gonna go with them T-Wolves, man. I like the underdogs. I like the upset, but I'm really looking for Ant to go crazy again in these playoffs, man. Show the world. You had your mishaps in the regular season. You were so close to closing out a game, and somebody beat them by 20 points. Came back with 24 points or something like that, and they missed that 6. They went down from a 3 to a 6 off of that. So. Shout out to Giannis and them boys and AJ Green for coming back on them. But and them boys right the ship, and we get them. Now, I'm gonna say this. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. If those Los Angeles Lakers don't go to that Western Conference Finals,
Yep, I'm right there with you. I'm all over JJ if they don't do that. And then 4-5 matchup, Denver and the Clippers. This is gonna be a hell of a series. If will Kawhi be healthy for all 7 games? Can Kawhi finish every single game and not have something? His leg, he missed game 3 and game 4. And if he's healthy for all 7, I kind of want to go Clippers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. This would be again. I mean, Jokic got 1, but. The way he's gone out.
Especially the way James Harden been playing too, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Chris Dunn playing good defense. They just don't have enough. I think the Nuggets are going to beat them. I think the Nuggets get them in probably 6, maybe 5. I don't think the Clippers have enough at this point. Even though James Harden, Kawhi, they got it going. Man, the Nuggets, it's their continuity, man. The way they play basketball together now. Depends on what Russell Westbrook's going to do. Depends on how they rally around, not having Mike Malone. But You still got Jokic. You still got Aaron Gordon playing well. Like, those guys are going to be able to, I think, get them over the hump in the first round at least.
And that's my other thing about Denver. There's clearly a lot of backstory going on with what's going on with them. There's no reason to fire coach with what?
Yeah, they shouldn't have done
how many
that.
days left in the regular? That's crazy.
That.
That's crazy.
But
so
I think they could still win.
Shout out to the legend Lee Corso. I almost hit you with the not so fast, Chris King. I almost hit you with the not so fast, man. I hear everything you're saying, all good points, but there's one dude you forgetting, and I think he's gonna change this series. Big Zubac down low, man. I think he's gonna be a tougher cover for Joker. He's a big guy just like him. He can push him around. They can push each other around. But I really do feel like there's a lot of dysfunction in Denver after, the like you two gentlemen mentioned, as far as the guy Malone being fired in that manner. And it just, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of toxicity right there. I look for the Denver Nuggets to be broken up this offseason just because of everything that went on in that locker room.
Yeah, no, we're going to see it. It's going to be fun. Let me see. Papalop says, bro, if Kuz will go off like 2023-24 version, that's sure Bucks in 5. But if not, bench that bum. You'll get nothing from him. Zaire Lewis says the Rockets have Thompson twin. He's about to show the world he's the next star. And the church says, amen. Amen, Thompson. Okay. Yeah, I did it right?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Y'all ain't follow me. I thought I was follow. I was gonna say, did I have that wrong last time? I was like, no, he talking about Thompson. Yeah, Azure and I. Amen. Okay, sorry. And then Isaiah Lewis says Trae Young in Minnesota. Anything else you guys want to get to and look around before we get up out of here?
Nope.
No, sir.
All right. Well, that's everything, man. I want to appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Man, if you think the Bucks are gonna win this series tonight, get the likes up. Hit that like button, hit that follow button, subscribe. Tell a friend, tell another friend about the Cream City crossover. Man, we're a couple days away from playoff basketball in the NBA. Not play-in basketball, playoff basketball. Let me see. Saturday, join us all day long. 97.3 The Game, 10 to noon Central. We'll be live with a pregame show on 97.3 The Game. On your T's and Q's, pregame. It's basically a pregame show. And then, of course, you had a game. And then basically join us after that right here, Cream City Crossover on the YouTube. We'll have some fun talking about breaking the game down and talking about everything that took place after the Bucks played the Indiana Pacers game 1. Again, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Appreciate it. Impromptu. A lot of people tonight that were in the in chat and watching us live. Of course, you can rewatch this. Tell a friend to rewatch it. I know you guys will take a look at it after the fact. And again, get us on our takes. Leave some comments. Tell us what you think. Will the Bucks win? Will it not win? Who will win around the NBA? But again, we'll be back to be a lot of fun talking Bucks hoops as the playoffs go on. Hopefully go past the first round today. Again, we'll just thank everybody for listening to us. It's been fun. We will see you Saturday afternoon after this game. Hopefully the Bucks beat the Indiana Pacers. And again, that's it. It's impromptu. We had some fun with this one. A little pregame, little playoff preview from the Guru Trick Osby III.
Chris King.
Justin.
If I am enemies, it's because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wood nickels.